Let me, okay. Well, everybody, hope you enjoyed part of that lunch. We're excited as part of the 2015 313 experience to be able to bring in some of our partners to talk. As you all know, you've had access to iCEV all fall. They've allowed you to have a subscription all the way through May 15th when you complete student teaching to utilize their instructional materials, a valuable partner to our teacher education program. And I'm so happy that Dusty Moore, the Dusty Director, Executive Director, Boss Man, what title do you go by?
You know, the title on the card says President, but I don't think that's the case.
Okay, the President of iCEV is here to talk to you, share some things, answer your questions, and share a little bit with you about opportunities. And so he was very willing to be flexible with us, and we're conducting this Google Hangout, and we'll have a YouTube video that we archive and share later on, so that's kind of cool. So right now, Dusty, it's all you. You're the head shed.
All right, very good. Well, thanks for having us. You know, we look forward to chatting with each of you. I wish we could do it a little bit more one-on-one. We're used to doing a lot more one-on-one trainings, so doing it for a group is a little bit different. This time of year, that's pretty much all we do is train teachers. We just got back, I guess it was yesterday or 2 days ago, from the Valley of Texas. We had about 150 teachers down there that we were training. We do online training sessions pretty much all day, every day, and this week with it being in service at schools, we do a lot of training. So I can kind of see you guys. You're a little bit blurry, but by a show of hands, how many of you guys have had a chance to log into your iCEV account?
I have 100 hands up.
All right. Yeah, I saw that there was only one student that hadn't signed up for a username and password. For that one student, if they're still in the class, we went ahead and resent that invitation email to you today. So check your email and sign up for that username and password. But what I thought we would do today is just kind of do a little bit of interactive show and tell. Again, most of you guys are already familiar with the system. You've logged in, but maybe show you some different tricks, and then also discuss some best use cases or best practices on how to use the materials. So if it's all right, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my screen. At any time, if you guys have questions, don't hesitate to let me know. We're pretty informal around here, so just holler and say, hey, I got a question, okay? So can you guys see my screen?
Right now it's black, but we're going to be patient for a moment. Yep, yes we do.
Okay, and so most of you have already gone through this, but one of the things, so a little background on CEV. We've been around since 1984. Our founder was actually a professor at Texas Tech University in the Meat Science and Muscle Biology department. And what he found was he got tired of having to take his kids on field trips to Plainview, where the meat packing plant was, every time he wanted to show them something that was going on within the meat packing plant. That was right about the time where film strips were pretty big, and right about the time where VHS was about to take over film strips. So somehow he managed to get himself his hands on a camcorder and take that. I don't even know if you guys even know what a camcorder is, but think of it as your phone, but it weighed about 30 pounds. And he would take that to the meat packing plant and record different carcasses and processes and things like that, bring them back and show the raw footage to his kids and explain what was going on at the plant. And so what he found out was that through doing that, there was a large demand of people that were actually looking for those type of materials. So he started off with just one editing station and made, you know, about 5 videotapes. Sold them via catalogs and by going to conferences and things like that, and then from there, you know, saw that it was a much needed resource in the classrooms, both at the college and the high school level. So from there, the company's just kind of grown to where, you know, we were doing VHS tapes up until about 2000, and then we started doing some DVDs, and then in the last 3 years, we've actually come out with iCEV. Originally, what iCEV was it was just a way to access all of our videos online. So it was kind of like I always describe it as a Netflix for an ag teacher. You know, you could log in and find all sorts of different subject areas and the videos on the subject areas. But what we wanted to do, we heard from teachers that basically we needed to take it to the next level. and that we needed to build the curriculum around it because a video is just not enough. And so through that, we developed the platform that you're seeing here today, which has been launched. You know, we launched this newest version in August, and it's been very well received. So you can still see my screen, correct?
Yes.
So what we've done is basically we've taken all of our lessons and we've compiled them into courses. So whenever you log in, it recognizes that you're an ag science teacher from Pennsylvania. So here I've got my Pennsylvania account. And when you click on Start Setting Up Your Courses, the first thing that you're going to do is select one of our, what we call our course playlists. So you can see we've got, you know, animal production, ag exploration for middle schools, ag mechanics, ag power. We've got all the different subject areas. And then if you keep scrolling down, and this is something that a lot of people haven't seen, but we've got also the ag science CDE playlists. So here you've got like the 2013 National FFA Dairy Cattle Judging Contest, horse judging, livestock judging, Blue and Gold Basics, which just discusses chapter officers and the basics of FFA, as well as some different, you know, how-to playlists for teaching career development events. And what you do is you just come in and you click on a course, and so you'll have to forgive me, I'm an animal guy, so I always demonstrate animals. You click on animal science, and then next it's going to ask you to give it a name. So typically people call it whatever period they're teaching it. So first period animal science. From there you can add another course and just go through the process of setting up everything that you teach. So I'm going to click on the Blue and Gold Basics series, and I'm just going to call this one FFA Basics. I'm going to finish it, and it's going to add those two courses here to my courses page. You can have as many courses on your page as you wish to have. So we have some teachers that have, you know, 100+ courses on their page, and then we have others that just have the 5 courses that they're teaching. From the My Courses page, if we look at what's in a course, we're going to come over here to the right and click on the green button that says View Course. These are the lessons for this animal science course that our curriculum writers suggest teaching. Now, we all know that not every classroom is the same, not every teacher is the same, and not every student is the same, which is why we give you the ability to come in here and customize the course. So you can click on Customize this course, take a look at all of your lessons. You guys can still see my screen, correct?
Yes, sir.
Take a look at all of these lessons that we've got for the course and decide whether or not it's right for you and your class, and also decide on the order that you want to teach it. So for instance, if you don't want to start with environmental issues of animal systems, you wanted to save the environmental pieces to the end, you just click on it and move it down. If you wanted to start, one of the ones that I always start with is the livestock industry. Click on that, move it up. If you don't want to discuss, say, swine management practices, just click on Remove, and you can remove it from the list. So you can literally take all of our pre-built lessons and arrange them, customize it however you wish to fit your class. You can also come over here to the left and you'll see where it says Available Lessons. This allows you to search our library. So again, we've been around since 1984. What we decided to do with this is just put everything we've ever built onto the system. So there's some old videos on here, there's all of our new videos, but what we found was when we tried to delete the old videos and just have the new videos, some of the teachers that were more familiar with the older videos really wanted those back. So we actually ended up just saying, all right, let's just put everything on there. We'll put the newest videos in the courses, but we'll have the older videos available to where if somebody wanted them, they could come in and find them. So say you're looking at this animal science course and you're looking, and we've gotten an advanced animal genetics lesson down here, but you wanted to find a little bit more on genetics. You just type in genetics and it'll pull up all of our lessons that deal with genetics. So here we've got one over embryo transfer. Click on preview and you can see that it's a video and it's 40 minutes long, and here's the description of it, and you can actually watch the video and click through to different parts of the video to see if it's something that would fit your class. And if it is, just come in here and click Add, and it'll add that to your class down here. So now that we've got it, we want to put embryo transfer up here by advanced animal genetics, because that's the order that we want to teach it. Our class is ready. Let's click Finished, and it'll automatically save everything that you've done. So we've got about, if I remember correctly, we've got about 1,200 different lessons within our library. So you have the ability to go in and search through all the different lessons that we have to see if there's something on a particular subject area that you're looking for. As we look at what a lesson looks like, so let's come in here to the livestock industry. One of the unique things about us is all of our lessons are either video-based or PowerPoint-based. There's no textbook. It's all meant to be media consumed online. So with our ag curriculum, I would say 75% of it is in video format, and 25% of it would be in PowerPoint format, where the main content is delivered to the students. The top of the page, the first thing that you should notice is the button that says View Lesson Plan. If you click on that, and can you still see it since it opened it in a new tab?
Yes.
Okay, it'll tell you that it says DVD, but really it's just online video. It's 27 minutes long. The goals, description, the objectives. We also align to the Common Core standards, as well as the, and I'm going to butcher this acronym, but it's the CCTC or CTEC, the Career and Common Technical Core, something like that. And then here we keep scrolling down, we have our actual lesson plan. Our lesson plans are based on 50-minute class periods. So if you're doing block scheduling or anything like that, you'll have to adjust the lesson plan a little bit. But all the lesson plan is meant to be as just a roadmap to help you understand the different materials that go with the lesson, kind of give you an order as to which to teach it. However, again, our system is meant for you to take it and do with it as you please. So this just is meant to give you an idea. Most of our teachers actually change up this lesson plan. They change it to fit their class. One of the unique things with the lesson plan you'll notice is over here, this is a little tie, but it says Career Connections. One of the things that we've tried to do is, because this is career and technical education, we've tried to take the technical skills that are being taught in the video lesson and match them to career interviews of people actually in the industry, to give students an idea of, okay, if you're interested in this lesson about the livestock industry, here are some people that are actually involved in that industry. So you can come down here and click on Jude Capper, who's, I believe she's a livestock sustainability consultant, and it's just a 5-minute video with her talking about where she discusses what she does for a living, what she likes about her job, what she hates about her job, how students would get involved in a career like hers, and just meant to give kids an oversight or an overview of the different careers within the livestock industry. So all of those interviews can be found by clicking down on that arrow. And it's a nice way to kind of cap off each lesson because, again, it ties the career aspect back to the actual lesson. One of the other things you'll notice in that lesson plan, we talk about the different resources and activities. So it'll mention a vocabulary handout, worksheets, assessments. All of those materials are right down here. Most teachers already have their activities. You guys probably in all of your methods classes and things like that have come up with different activities and projects and things to use for a lesson like the livestock industry. But what this does is it just gives you a few more ideas, and you might find 1 out of 5 or a couple out of 5 that you want to go ahead and implement into each lesson. So really meant to kind of give you an idea of that. The other part, and you guys actually don't have access to this, but I wanted to kind of show it off for you so you could see, we do have student licenses available. And what the student licenses allow is they allow a student to actually log in and they allow the student to go through interactive activities, worksheets, and assessments that go with each lesson, which are then automatically graded and automatically give you the data regarding how the student did. So if we come in here and click on the livestock industry assessment, we can go through and take this assessment real quick. We'll click A for each one. And again, this will work with an iPad or a laptop, a desktop, whatever you have, as schools move more to the one-to-one devices or the BYOD policies. And then when they click Finish, it'll automatically submit all of the answers, and it'll let you know that Dusty doesn't know much about the livestock industry because he scored a 20. And here were all the different questions that he got right, as well as the questions that he got wrong. So it allows you to kind of come in and analyze exactly what was right and what was wrong with what each student did. So you can see if all the students missed question number 2, then maybe we need to discuss, Bos Indicus cattle a little bit more, because that, students aren't really grasping that concept. One of the new pieces that we've added, and I want to go ahead and kind of discuss this because this is kind of the new, I guess the new thing. Would you agree with that, Dr. Foster? The certifications, the new thing with career and technical education?
Yes.
One of the things that we've been hearing about for about 5 years is that we needed to offer industry certifications somehow through our curriculum. And we've always looked at that and said, that's not our job, that's the industry's job. They need to come up with the certifications. They need to be the ones out there actually doing this. But what we found was that somebody had to be a catalyst to kind of work with industry and get them to where they understood how to develop a certification that not only fits for the industry but also fits for high school or classroom use. And so through that, we've actually developed 3 certifications to date that students can get on the iCEV platform. The first one here is the American Meat Science Association Meat Evaluation Certification. The second is the National Collegiate Livestock Coaches Association Livestock Selection and Evaluation Certification. And the third, and we actually just published this and went live with it yesterday, was the Southwest Airlines Professional Communication Certification. So what these are, and I always have to stress this, when we put AMSA in front of it, it's because it's AMSA certification. It is not CEV certification. It is the American Meat Science Association certification, meaning that they worked with us to develop all of the lessons that you see here and the industry standards that needed to go into that certification. What we do is we offer the publishing platform for them to publish that certification on. So if we look here at the AMSA certification, students will have to go through the following lessons or the following modules. They will have to pass the final exam, which is indicated by this star down here. They'll have to pass that final exam, and they have to do it for each one of these modules before they unlock that final certification exam. The final certification exam is about 100 questions long, and it's extremely rigorous. They're pretty tough exams. You have to know what you're doing in order to pass that certification exam. And once you go through and pass the certification exam, then you receive your AMSA Meat Evaluation certification or certificate. And one of the questions that we get a lot is, what do the certifications allow a student to do? What it's meant to do is it's meant to be a starting point for students that are interested in a career in meat science. That could be a student that's interested in working at a butcher, working for a butcher or a meat cutter. That could be a student that's interested in going on and completing their post-secondary degree in food science. It could be several number of different professions, but what it's meant to do is get students started in that direction. What we ask our industry partners to do is we can handle, working with schools and working with students and that aspect of it, and working with teachers. What we ask our industry partners to do is promote it within the industry. So the American Meat Science Association is made up of academia as well as industry like Cargill, Tyson, Kraft Foods. All of the big food science players are members of that organization. So we ask them to promote that certification to those companies, so whenever a student shows up with that on their resume, they know what that is. The employer knows what that is, and they know what the student actually did to achieve that certification. It's not just a piece of paper that a student achieved. It actually means something to an employer. Any questions in regards to that, in regards to the certifications? That's generally what we get a lot of questions over.
Can students do a certification if, say, they're really interested in it, but you don't cover a lot of class material? Can they do that on their own, or do you have to have that class set up?
They can do that on their own. So one of the things, and I actually just logged out of it. Let me log back in as the student. One of the things as we were designing it, you know, the students have to be enrolled in a course. They're only going to see the courses that they're enrolled in. So you have to physically enroll the student in a course for it to pop up on their My Courses page. However, the certifications, every single one for every single subject area will be available for them. So right now we have 3 certifications on the platform. We're adding an equine evaluation, Microsoft Office user certification. We've got about 10 different ones in the pipeline. And all of those will show up for a student no matter what course they're enrolled in. And the reason for that is we didn't want to limit a student to just say, you're only allowed to do the livestock evaluation certification because you're enrolled in a livestock class. We wanted them to be able to have access to all of them for those students that were motivated to go out and get more certifications and add to their resume. One of the things that we're working on with the certifications, and we've actually got a prototype developed, and we're about to, I think we'll launch it probably in March when we have our marketing materials ready for it and our training pieces ready for it, is digital badging. Have you guys covered digital badges in any of your education courses?
No.
So what digital badges are, basically, as students will go through and complete these competencies, all of your badges will be tied to the objectives in each lesson. So as a student completes the harvesting of livestock lesson, they will be issued a badge saying that they passed the AMSA harvesting of livestock, and here are the objectives that were covered within that lesson that the student has mastered. All of that is tied into the badge via metadata, so back-end data, and they can then put that badge via LinkedIn, Facebook, all the different social networkings, as well as portfolio pieces. So it's a way for, you know, in case the student loses that certification or loses that certificate, it's a digital version of that, but it has a lot more back-end data tied to it. I would check it out. It's kind of a new thing coming with education that's looks like it's very promising in the future. So how many of you have had a chance to log in and play around with it? I'm going to try to switch back so I can see the class.
No.
Let's see here. See if I'm smart enough to figure out how to do this. Okay, I can see you guys now. So most of you have been able to log in and play around with it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so what are some initial questions that you've got about using the program? Anybody?
Let's see, it's pretty straightforward.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear.
Because I figured it out. Is there any way to put 2 course playlists together to make one course?
To put your own playlist together, is that what you said?
Well, to take off the playlist, like say you want to put animal production and small animal science together, is there a way to put those 2 playlists together, or do you just have to put both of them?
So the best way to do that, can you still see my screen here?
Yes.
So the best way to do that is come in here and click the Add a New Course button. And then from there, there's a button right up here that says Create a Custom Course. From there, you can title it Small, what did you say, Small Animal and Plant Science?
Sure.
So it's a unique combination, but you can come in here, and then after you do that, you can either search or then you can browse by subject. And a lot of people have missed the Browse by Subject button. But if you come in there and click Browse by Subject, you can click on Animal System Small Animal, and you'll see all of the small animal lessons we have in our library. So animal rights, you can preview it. If that looks like a lesson that you wanted to add, you can come in and click Add, and so you can really come through and customize your own playlist. There's no way to merge the two playlists together right now, but we do give you the ability, kind of like they call it in developer terms, a sandbox, where you can come in and just create your own. So we've seen some pretty cool things that people have created in regards to doing their own, making their own courses. Some pretty innovative courses which are designing, using several different lessons from each of the different subject areas. One other thing that I'd like to discuss is, we talk a little bit about best practices. And I actually was doing an online training with a teacher from California this morning. And probably one of the biggest ways we see our curriculum being, for lack of a better word, abused, is what we call the press play and walk away syndrome, where here you've got a 45-minute video, and so you're going to press play on that, you're going to print off the worksheets, and you're going to sit at the back of the classroom and allow the kids to watch the video and fill out the worksheets. That's not the way the curriculum was designed. So you'll notice if we flip back over here, can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
You'll notice as we look at a video lesson here that they are divided into chapters, and they're divided into into different pieces. What we meant for the curriculum to be is interactive with the teacher. So one of the things that I talked with the teacher about from California this morning, she had what was called a Mobi, which is like a smart board, but it's a tablet. You can control what's on the smart board with a tablet. And so we were playing around with that to see how that worked with the iCEV curriculum. And one of the things that we discussed is the fact that, you've got a 2-minute and 39 section on environmental issues, animal systems. At the end of that 2-minute and 39 seconds, while it might jump over here to the next section, it's a pretty good idea to pause the video and discuss what was just happened in that video. My father was an ag teacher, and this is a true story. I never knew that CEV videos had audio and narration until I actually started working here. And the reason for that is what he would do is he would take those videos that he purchased, he would watch them during his off hour, and then he would mute the video and he would do the discussion during class. He never allowed the collaborator to talk, or he never allowed the narrator to talk. It was always him discussing it. I think he did that for a couple of reasons. Number one is obviously it helped with student engagement. Number two, I think he thought our music was absolutely terrible and cheesy, which I would have to agree, but you deal with what you've got. And then, number three is, he wanted to be the expert on that subject. He wanted to be the one that his kids were listening to in class. So the biggest thing that when we talk about best practices when using this curriculum is do not utilize the press play and walk away mentality when using it. Be able to come in here and take some video clips, play them, have you some discussion questions ready, to ask the students. Have these different activities and these different projects and ways to engage the students. If we're just relying on the video or them coming in and taking a test with an iPad or a laptop, we're not going to engage the kids the way we need to engage them. So that's really probably the biggest thing I hound on in regards to when doing teacher training is they're split into these sections for a reason, to allow you to come in and be able to expand on them, to do discussions, to do engagement. There's a reason why this lesson plan says that it takes 5 days to go through this one 42-minute video. It's not meant to be covered in one day. So I think that's the biggest thing, that the biggest best practice that I like to discuss is, do not utilize the press play and walk away capabilities that it does have. Any questions on that? Dr. Foster, any thoughts?
I think you're great. And I appreciate you sharing. Guys, I want to make sure that we don't go on without you having questions. I don't want you leaving without having understanding. If you don't have questions, Dusty, did you give them your contact information?
I can give that to you. Yeah. Let me just give you my cell phone number. That's the best way to get a hold of me.
Yeah, I'm going to write it on the board. So if you go ahead and share it, I'll write it up here.
All right. It is 806-470-3862.
All right, guys.
No text after midnight, please.
The president of iCEV says he wants you to be successful. You have questions, and hook you up. If you Google that stuff, you can find his email address. Pretty impressive. I'm sure they're responsive of asking questions anytime you want. Remember, they told you the online help that you can do right there and grab that. So remember that. And
let me cover one. I'm glad you brought that up. Let me cover one last thing. At the top of the page, you can see my screen again, right?
Yes.
Yep.
You see that iCEV coach button? What that is, and you guys are all familiar with it, being 21st century students, but that's our live chat button. So anytime you need help, click that button, and it automatically connects you with somebody in our office, and they're not going to pick up for me because they know that it's my computer dialing them, and I guess I've pranked them too many times. But click on that button because it immediately connects you to one of us here in the office. So that button can be used if it's a question regarding if you've got a technical support issue, if you've got, you're looking for a lesson over the types of fertilizers. Be sure to click on that because we can help you out instead of you having to search for it and figure out the answer on your own. Click that button. We're happy to help.
So that's exciting. Now, Dusty, I happen to have sitting in the room 3 first and second year teachers, and I think they're interested. They're kind of mad at me because I didn't give them access to this when they went through the program 2 years ago. How does a new teacher who just wants to pilot it and test it out, how can they get a sneak peek behind and try it out, trial period?
Sure. If you come in to just go to icevonline.com, and then you'll notice up here at the top a 30-day trial. Click on that, fill out the information. We do require you to have a school-issued email address. Create your username and password, and then choose the subject areas that you want and start your trial. And you have full access to everything except the student portion, like the testing and grading piece.
Sure. And when these guys graduate and they get that first job and they're having to put in budget requests, I'm sure they can contact you and you can help them put the quotes in and what they need to have access to these kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So we, in Pennsylvania, we've got a group that works out of New York that kind of handles our cells there in Pennsylvania. They just kind of started with us, but I think you'll be seeing them more at teacher conferences and things like that, especially the NAAE ones.
Very good. Hey, let's show our appreciation, Dustin.
Thanks again for having us, and if you have any questions whatsoever, do not hesitate to let us know. Our main thing is we watch, the number one thing we probably monitor is login statistics, because if people aren't using it, we want to know why, what we need to do to fix it, what we need to do to make it better, and what we need to do to get you on board and actually using it. So don't hesitate to contact us if you have any troubles at all, and good luck.
Thanks, Dusty. We'll see you down the road.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.